with this kind of more open style map. The match in general is going to be interesting based on what picks we actually get here.
And those picks should be available on your screen, starting with Matchpoint hovering Sky. You know, Stolzy has a reputation for Sky. He's looking at the camera. Will it be locked in? No. You tease. You tease. It will be Makoa first, which is a relatively standard pickup for Matchpoint, opening the door for them for a whole lot else. Team QG, how are they going to respond?
You know, the interesting thing when Makoa's picked up, we have seen Fernando be prioritized very early simply because Makoa, Fernando together, it's the two highlighted big bodies in the front line, and we are going to see Fernando picked up. And actually Cassie, which is great because Matchpoint actually prefers to pick Cassie as their #1 or #2 pick 89% of the time.
That is a very, very frequent pick rate, and that often goes over to Dozups or maybe Stolzy, but now taking it away, putting it on Knight, who we saw perform spectacularly with it earlier today. It's a good look for Team QG. Matchpoint, they're going to have to go back to basics here, and I'd love to see the Sky, but as we wait for the draft to be locked in, I'm feeling maybe Andro. We'll have to see.
The Andro is definitely probably a favorite, I would say, as they're looking at what is viable for those damage dealers to get back in now that the Cassie is offline. But that being said, we have seen the Makoa Ruckus combination very regularly today, and that's what's coming up with the support coming from the Maldamba.
And this is one of the win conditions, the trifectas that Matchpoint have been preaching since they got here. You get Makoa, Ruckus, and Maldamba, you just win the game, supposedly, unless you misplay. To counter that, Team QG will need a lot of damage to try and break through the defense of Matchpoint. Xiaolin will perfectly augment that, but as well, taking Ying for sustain, some more of that fire and forget style healing, which we saw Master Lu utilize pretty well earlier today as well.
Very, very well. And Master Lu has actually been really kind of lights out on Ying. We haven't really had a lot of time to talk about what supports have been doing, but his use of Dimensional Link with those illusions to bounce back and forth, you'll see a couple blips and you'll see Ying kind of dash in and out. That's her Dimensional Link. That's her movement skill, and he's been doing a very good job of utilizing that to stay alive.
Makes them very tricky and hard to lock down, but lock them down. Matchpoint will, at least with their final two picks. Androxus and Drogo's coming through, going back with the fan and the family favorite for likely Stolzy, and Drogo's coming in for the area damage and the shield kill potential. I like it. Maybe vulnerable to Xiaolin, and especially to Team QG's final pickup of Victor. Up in the skies, you are well, you got a bullseye on you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing about Victor, Knight has done a very good job. We've seen him lock down a couple of different triple kills, and I anticipate we're probably going to see him playing Victor this match as well. The big thing about this, as you look at Team QG, this is all direct damage, and most of it is mid to long range. The only thing that's going to be bringing any kind of an AoE real effect, as far as the auto tech goes, is the Fire Lance coming out of Fernando.
So we're likely to see Matchpoint looking to sit on a point hold and run with that kind of playstyle. Team QG, they're going to have to do point break, which is going to be curious when they're trying to run Fernando alongside that. But we know that point break can suffer because of Makoa. You want to sit back, you want to chip down your enemies on the objective and out, sustain them, burn through their shields, and then blast them down. But if Makoa pulls you into the mix and you've got nobody who can peel for you, you're in a bit of a tough spot.
And the other thing that's really interesting about that point, Fox, is the fact that Ying does not really have any burst heal. So if you are pulled out of position, there's really no good way to save yourself without having someone else really sacrificing their health pool to kind of cross that damage between two different bodies.
Can be very difficult. You marked an itemization, and we are about to head straight into game. So let's take a look at the scoreboard, see what itemization these champions pick up. But also, let's break down the players for the final time for Team QG in their third set of the day.
Sporting the red trunks, it will be Master Lu playing Cassie, Mikasa on Xiaolin, Spear on Ying, Yi will be playing Fernando, and Knight will be playing Victor.
And of course, Matchpoint with War Doom on Makoa, Cuscuti in the air as Drogo, Smidgen on Maldamba, Stolzy on Androxus, Dozups on Ruckus, and immediately Stolzy up and over looking for the assassination and finds multiple shots, but Master Lu picks up first blood on Cassie. Knight will be on the, as you said, the victor this time, and although Smidgen trades out for one, this is an early advantage going through. The damage that Team QG has paying off in dividends.
I do not know what Matchpoint's doing here. They were very scattered across that entire back line. Some people sitting around the bridge, others by the sundial. It was just kind of not really here nor there. It was just kind of all over.
If I could put it in a word, I'd say overconfidence. Oh, hold that thought though. Mikasa is pulled in by Makoa. That opens up the opportunity for Matchpoint to collapse once again on the objective, and they're still leading the objective capture rate. Smidgen and Stolzy cleaning up. Master Lu goes down as well to Cuscuti, and stunned out by Maldamba will be Yi going, sent straight back to base. 90% on the capture point, and despite the early deficit, Matchpoint take control.
And this is where Matchpoint is going to take the ball and run with it. They're going to sit up right underneath this bridge, find a way to keep them up top or just back towards their spawn so this payload can freely move, and that's exactly what it's doing so far, Box.
Oh, that reversal could have been huge, but Stolzy can't confirm the damage. Nice jukes from QG to remove himself from the area. Cutie will retreat back to the safety of their team, and some support and sustain from Maldamba with the gourd as they have been poked out very low. But Wardoom opens up a kill onto Yi, and this provides Matchpoint with the opportunity to to push through a complete lack of frontline. Cutie picks up 2, but can Knight turn things around?
I really like the positioning play, even though the Cassie is likely to fall. Triple kill coming out for Cutie, and the Dragon Punch now as well, looking for a kill. This is really going to help the payload if he can find anybody, but there's nobody on screen.
No, and that's really good for the Fernando. Yi from the side of QG able to stay out of range of Dragon Punch, not be one shot by the ultimate coming out of Cutie, stays alive and now can contest the payload because it is advancing very, very rapidly. Stolzy looking for Knight in the backline, can't confirm the kill. Can they find the shots around the corner? Immortal keeps them alive, and this could be the point at which we see QG hold. But no, the accursed arm takes down one, Smidgen cleans up another, and QG Reapers are being dismantled. Triple kill for the hometown hero of Stolzy.
And he doesn't even need to get in the air. He says, I'm okay just sitting on my own 2 feet and using this accursed arm. That revolver coming to life with hitting for big, big, big bonuses. And now you're looking at the net worth, and it's all blue.
Oh, it certainly is, and that will give the team of Matchpoint a lot of credits with which to spend in the item store in base between rounds. What are they going to elect to go into here to really accelerate their lead?
And like we talked about during the drafted phase, everybody except for Fernando is mitigated out by Haven. You're seeing 4 of those come online, and Stolzy actually looking to get right into that support space with double cauterize. That's 60% less healing coming in.
So Stolzy playing the more true assassin role, not trying to brawl out around the objective, but lock down with some anti-heal, take the support and sustain away from QG. I like it. It might work, but QG have to recognize this and respond to it. Those items are available in the in-game scoreboard for everybody to see, so as they approach the objective, they've got to be watching out for this Androxus on the backside. But maybe it's Cutie they should be more scared of, as Hexafire from Doze up right through 2!
Oh my God, it's all 4 falling. It is all just left to Fernando, who sprinted out and pulled up the shield and essentially said, I'm out of here, guys. I'm not sticking around, even though he is going to get pulled and brought down eventually here. Maybe not, though. The shield coming up at a very good time, and his team is getting close, but no. He still falls.
Oh, Stolzy gets right up in his face, activates Defiance. The Androxus ult fire for the triple shot burst and just blasts straight through. Matchpoint 72% and rising. There's no way for QG to get anywhere near the objective because throughout all that fight, Matchpoint were capping. They hold the advantage. They get the second capture of this first game. 3-0 on the scoreboard, and now it's all up to QG to make the defense of their lifetime.
It's the defense of their lifetime for sure. The Cinderella story is online if they want to have a chance. The barrage is coming out, so damage is getting confirmed, even though no kills are showing up on your kill feed. Ruckus is very low, and the Fernando's actually going to chase it down, and you're seeing an actual salvo come out to really poke away that Fernando, and the red team now having to fall back as, again, QG finding their health pools is not at a high enough level to contest.
Hold that thought, though. No, the reversal was fed for Stolzy. Ying's ultimate might have kept Knight alive, but no, the damage pushed into Androxus was just too much. On the respawn is Makoa advancing towards the objective. Ruckus too advancing, trying to keep that rate of fire up. And again, hovering this position you talked about, finds a Dreadjanker shutdown kill. Mikasa, get out of here. We're rolling forwards.
That's the power of Wardoom on Makoa. He's been stabilized as having this front line down for Matchpoint, and he's showing the strength. That was a max range, uphill hook, beautiful play, and now his team converting. You can see Victor's even saying, I'm sprinting out of here. There's no way I'm going to be able to contest.
Clean up on aisle 3. No, that's just Stolzy. He's coming in looking for the double kill. Reversal is available, not going to use it instead. Accursed Arm finds nothing, but provides zone. Still, the objective is contested, but with 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock, and no sign of this payload stopping. Matchpoint are looking at a 4-0 victory.
Yeah, and a little shaky start near the beginning, but this has been just sheer domination so far from the North American favorite. They've been sitting on social media saying, we're flexing as the #1. They're showing it right now.
And as we see their faces looking at the camera, Stolzy just dead-eyeing the camera there, getting a nice little wave in. Maybe, no, not treating us to that today. Maybe discussing tactics now for the next upcoming match, but what's there really to say after that previous game, because it was just so one-sided.
And that really comes down to the fact that this team is experienced. They've been playing the game for a very, very long time as a 5-man roster, even really about almost the entire history of the organization being Matchpoint. That being said, they have the flexibility of playing any type of character. The tactics going into this next one is copy-paste.
Just go with what works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Okay, so expect maybe some more ruckus. We did see Eevee come out last time, which would be interesting. Matchpoint can throw that in as a wild card pick, but ultimately at this point, it feels like Matchpoint, they can't be outdrafted. They'll just play anything and still win.
Absolutely. I mean, I would almost see... We've heard some talk. You mentioned it the last time they came on stage. They might be styling a little bit. We saw the Sky was hovered on for a second. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But let's take a look at this match before we go into the next one, as the scoreboard is looking like, I'm sure, as one-sided as what the result was.
One-sided, you say, but again, I'm going to draw your attention to it. Check out that solo kills column. Stolzy leading the charge at 4, but only 2 more for the entire rest of the team, demonstrating Matchpoint's ability to play as a unit. Smidgen sitting at 0 deaths on Maldamba, a bit of a resident sleeper throughout the duration of that game, but sitting around the objective constantly and never contested. Who's going to dive the Maldamba from QG's team composition?
The problem is you can't just dive the Maldamba and be successful, especially what they ran. But that being said, even if you do try to focus out this support, there's just so much peel on the side of Matchpoint. You have Fire Spit that'll zone people away. You have the hook from Warden, which he barely even misses ever, and then that's not going to work. Dose-ups can just turn around and just start shredding with those dual miniguns. So it's just not really anything that is good. And Smidgen just is really good at positioning. Let's not just say that no one dove on him. He's really smart about when he uses Slither, that intargetable movement ability that Maldamba has. And that's really the key, is that he's so good at knowing the pros and cons of that character.
Absolutely. So it's knowledge of the champion and trust in your team. Their draft might not have been fruity, but Matchpoint had more peel than an orange in that previous game. I do want to draw your attention to objective time for the side of QG. Look how well Matchpoint were able to zone. We saw Yi get in and contest the payload a lot, but Master Lu able to get nowhere near the objective point. 3 seconds was all Mikasa and Knight were managing to achieve. This doesn't seem to be a deficit from QG, just more testament to how well Matchpoint were playing and their positional awareness around every objective.
Yeah, and that's a really big point as far as, you know, what can the Cassie do to even free up the battlefield a little bit to get their team closer towards that payload. She has the no fall off damage, so from any distance, her auto attacks will hit for the same. That's the big key to Cassie when you're looking at what impact to a front line they can bring. But still, the fact of the matter is there's 2 players with 3 on the objective time. The other ones are not even, barely even over 50. It just tells the story that there is no objective really at all when it comes down to converting for QG.
And what can you do when every single member besides Smidgen from Matchpoint gets up and close and personal in your face? 4 members who can split the carry role well between them. Stolzy, we talk about so much. Those ups on Ruckus is definitely nothing to be sneezed at. Cuss Cutie as well on Drogo, sitting at the highest damage in game so far. 39,000 in just 9 minutes and 23 seconds. He is constantly dishing out those rockets and the AoE fire spits. And we saw in the previous game, I think you can remember, the second objective, Cuss Cutie comes back up from behind. They're expecting Stolzy, but instead it's this big AoE burst, and there's nobody who can really counter that. We talked about maybe the anti-air potential of Victor or Charlene, but it just felt like that went completely amiss in the previous round.
Well, the big thing as well is you wanted to, if you're QG, to stay together, stay cohesive, try to find a way to work the objective, or at least the map, in some favor towards yourselves.
Building on that, you've only got 1 frontliner, so you have to stay behind that 1 shield if you want to stay safe. Grouped up is exactly what Drogo's enjoys.
Yeah, and he does so well on this map too. And speaking of, it's going to be interesting to see what is picked